Hey everyone, let's talk about a tool that gets rid of one of the biggest headaches in web development, building the same boring API over and over. It's called PHP-CRUD-API, and trust me, it's a total game changer for anyone who's just done with writing the same CRUD endpoints for every single project.
So, let's just kick things off with a question for all the developers listening. How much of your life have you spent building a backend API from scratch? You know the drill, the same exact endpoints for creating, reading, updating, and deleting stuff. It's a massive, massive time sink. And yeah, that's what I call the API grind. It's that sinking feeling of déjà vu when you spin up a new project and it hits you. You have to build that same basic API all over again. I mean, think about the whole dance. First, you got to define all your routes. Then you're writing the controller logic for every single endpoint. After that, you're building out models to talk to the database. Oh, and you have to handle all the input validation, right? And the kicker, you do this entire process for every table you have. It's work that has to be done for sure, but it is not the fun, creative part of the job.
But what if you could just skip all of that? What if there was a way to get a completely working, full-featured API without writing a single line of that boilerplate code? Well, let's look at this shockingly simple solution.
And here it is. This is the wild part. It's all done with one single PHP file. Seriously, no big frameworks to install, no tangled mess of dependencies, no complicated setup. You just have this one file, and it instantly generates a whole REST API for your entire database.
And getting it running is just as crazy simple. The installation is literally 3 steps. You download the api.php file. You pop it open, scroll to the bottom, and plug in your database username and password. Then you just upload that file to your server. That's it. You're done. Your API is live.
Okay, so what is that, maybe a minute of setup actually get you? Let's dive into the core stuff that works right out of the box, with absolutely zero extra coding needed from you.
So what happens is the script automatically inspects your database schema and just generates these clean, standard, RESTful endpoints for every table you have. Instantly, you get create, read, update, delete, and list operations, the whole shebang. They all follow the standard HTTP methods you'd expect. Your entire database is just suddenly available through a clean API.
Okay, but here's the thing. Don't let that simplicity fool you into thinking this is some weak little tool. It is incredibly powerful. It can handle really complex queries and relationships because it uses this clever query language called TreeQL.
So what the heck is TreeQL? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a super practical, lightweight alternative to something like GraphQL. It lets you ask for a tree of JSON data, and it's smart enough to use your database's foreign key relationships to pull back exactly the data you need all in one go. And the best part? You tap into all this power with just simple URL parameters. Want to filter your records? Just add a filter parameter. Need to sort them? Use the order parameter. Pagination, picking specific columns, even doing complex joins. It's all handled right there in the URL. It's so clean.
Now that join parameter, oh, this is where it gets really, really cool. Check out this example from the source docs. With just one request to our posts endpoint, we're also asking for all the related comments, the users who wrote those comments, and all the tags tied to those posts, all at once. And this is what you get back, which just perfectly shows you why they call it tree. The API doesn't just give you a bunch of flat lists of data. No. It intelligently nests the related records right inside the parent object. You see the comments and tags are inside the post, and the user object is even nested inside its comment. This one feature completely eliminates the need for making dozens of follow-up API calls. So right about now, you might be thinking, okay, this is awesome for a quick prototype, but there's no way I can use this in a real production app, right? Wrong. This thing is absolutely a robust, production-ready tool, and it's all because of its powerful middleware architecture. Right inside the config, you can just enable different middlewares to add whole new layers of functionality. Think of them like little plugins you can just switch on. Need to add authentication? Yep, there's a middleware for that. Want to add some input validation? There's one for that too. It's unbelievably flexible. Let's take authentication, for instance. You can easily swap between different security models. Need a simple API key for some service-to-service communication? There's a middleware you can turn on. Or do you need a full session-based login system for your users? Yep, there's a different middleware for that.
And it just keeps going. You can enable a firewall to block specific IPs. You can use an authorization middleware to get super granular about who can see which tables, columns, or even individual records. JWT support? Of course. It can even prevent people from scraping your database by limiting how many records they can pull at once. This is all the serious stuff you need for a real-world application.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. Why does a tool like this actually matter so much? What's the big deal?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. It lets you completely skip the boilerplate. It handles all of that repetitive, predictable, soul-crushing grunt work of building a basic API. And that frees you, the developer, up to focus your time, your energy, and your creativity on what actually makes your application unique and special. I mean, the difference in development time is just staggering. Building a solid API by hand can easily take days, maybe even weeks. With a tool like this, you can have a more powerful and more flexible starting point in less than 5 minutes. It's not even a contest.
So, I'll leave you with this one thought. Think about your next big project, or that cool idea you've been putting off because you dread the initial setup. What could you create? What could you innovate if you simply never had to write a boilerplate API ever again?